Hello, welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. My name's Lorene. I'm talking to you today from the top of the stairs where there are more books than there are at the bottom of the stairs. This is the shelf where I put sort of middle readers, middle books, I guess that's what we're calling them, middle books, or books for middle readers, and YA that I felt was worth owning. There are a lot of YA that I feel is worth owning, but they're so far in the past, I'm not sure that I want to go to the trouble of purchasing them. I'm not much of a rereader, but every once in a while, if a series is good, then I will pursue the series. So what I also have mixed in through here are books that were favorites for the family, which I'll do a separate video on. That would be kind of fun. But also the winter books, because I just got lazy and just shoved them up here. So I did such a reasonable job on pruning my fall stack of who knows what's happening books down into now I know what's happening books. I thought I would do the same here today, sort of stay on the theme. So this is the pile. This is the pile of books that we determined downstairs was, well, you can't see it yet, that was going to be good for winter reading. So, well, here I can boast a little bit. That fencing statue back there, that my son went to Canada Winter Games in 2003, and he was a saberist, and that was what one of the neighbors gave him as a reward for his hard work, which was really very kind of them. So we're going to cover it up by the books from downstairs that we decided, you and me, decided that we would like to read in the winter. And this pile is books that back in the summer I thought I might like to read in the winter. So this one I received as a gift, and it's about a dragon, and it's got this really cool cover. So I don't have no idea what the book is about. It takes place in Costa Rica, and anyhow, dragons, winter, eyeballs, kind of cool. Let's see. The Frog I picked up. Did I pick that up this year? Yes, I did. It was one of those pandemic purchases for In a Panic. And it's by John Hawkes. It's a classic. He also wrote The Blood Oranges and An Irish Eye. Proust, French literature's greatest novelist and rule breaker, would, I think, have enjoyed The Frog. I don't know. What kind of a blurby thing is that? Some dead person might have enjoyed this book. I'm putting it away. I can't get the energy up for it. This is an author that I would really like to continue with. Her name is Margaret Elfinstone, and this is The Voyagers, and it is a bit of a clunker, and it's about a Quaker brother and sister. The sister's gone to America, and people in England have lost track of her, and so the brothers decided to travel and go see her. And as you can guess from the canoe, it took place quite some time ago. I really enjoyed it the first time, and the second time I was reading it, it was a friend of mine who was in palliative care, and so we were reading this while she was doing that. We didn't finish it. So I would like to follow through with her as an author. That just fell down. Then I have these 4 books that I have read. They're all by authors of color. And when I look in the screen, that looks like it's reversed. I hope it's not reversed for you guys. There's Legend Born, Cinderella is Dead, and The Boy in the Black Suit, as well as, and I don't think this is an author of color. Let me think. No, I don't think so. Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Elier-Saenz. I didn't love it as much as my book club loved it, and there's a new Aristotle and Dante book out or coming out. So I think what I'm going to do is donate this to one of the Lord, what are they called? middle school's where the high school, where all the hormones are. So I'll donate it to one of those. Ishmael is a book that I always said I was going to reread. I really enjoyed it the first time, by Daniel Quinn. And it's another one where I'm just not getting around to it, so I'm not going to get rid of it, but put it back on the shelf. And let's see, what else have I got that's in the winter stack? A Pot of Gold and Other Plays by Plautus. I think this, I'm going to propose it as a read aloud with the family. Like we do every Sunday, we do something. Right now we're working on a Wodehouse, The Little Nugget, which is much longer than we thought. But these are supposed to be funny. Well, The Pot of Gold is supposed to be funny. And these are from, well, when Plautus was 195 BC, somewhere in there. So Greek tragedy, Greek comedy. And so I'm not quite going to get rid of it, but close, because it might get voted off the read aloud list. Grapes of Wrath, it's another one where I have read it actually twice. I haven't seen the movie, but I just have a feeling it's going to be too much of a downer over the winter. Winter is when I tend to get a little bit moody. So I'm going to put this in the summer pile because it'll be bright and sunshiny when I'm reading it. Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I have to confess that I'm just sick and tired of classics that I've already read. I know there's a lot of people out there who are working their way through the classics, and you know, brilliant, that's excellent. But I have read an awful lot of classics, and the ones that remain that I haven't read, I am not reading them for a reason. I didn't like the plot, or I wasn't fond of the author. Tale of Two Cities, I think it's the kind of thing I'm going to put back on the shelf where it came from, and it's going to be perfect for, you know, the next blizzard when we have power outages, because we'll be all wrapped in blankets like they were in the French Revolution. This one, If on a Winter's Night a Traveler by Italo Calvino. Again, I've read it once before. It's falling to pieces now, actually. So many people have read it. I think I'm going to put that in the winter pile because if on a winter's night, why not keep reading it? Let's see. Marie-Claire Blay is a Canadian author, and I really want to reread, or not reread, I haven't read, I don't know if I've read any of her other books, but she's on my target list for Canadian classic authors. And that's a project I'm doing in 2022. So it goes into that project pile. So we've cleared the decks a little bit, and I think that's not an unreasonable pile to go into the winter with, is it? It's kind of, it's reasonable. If I spread that out over the course of 3 or 4 months, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to tell you about was how I had done with the last purge. So, James Baldwin, Go Tell It on the Mountain, I did not finish. I had to go back into Emerge, and I was reading it in Emerge. And this is supposed to be a very accurate depiction of how things were in the Bronx. Is it the Bronx? I'm sorry, no. Harlem, I guess, in 1935. And everybody in this book is severely preoccupied with salvation. And it's a salvation that is so unkind and restrictive and demonic, and judgment after judgment. Doesn't matter whether it's sibling against sibling, or parent against child, or the other way around, or community against individual. It's just like nobody likes each other. Nobody's kind. Nobody sees their faith as an opportunity for building tolerance, building compassion, and so maybe that's just my problem as a 2021 not very strong believer. I just find this to be harrowing in the amount of cruelty that takes place in it. So it's probably a great story, but I just had no patience for it, and I just DNF'd it while I was in Emerge. And I don't know how to say her first name. It's such a cute looking spelling, Ngaio, Gail, Marsh. I was recommended this book on the basis that the argument was that she was a better mystery writer than Agatha Christie. Now, I only read the first book, Hand in Glove, and just based on that, very small sampling, I would have to agree. I like her writing way, way more than Agatha Christie. And that is because two main reasons. The person who's doing the sleuthing or the detecting is present through the story. Poirot always seems to be dashing around and we don't know what he's investigating. And Miss Marple is not even present sometimes before the mystery gets solved. She's having a conversation with other people and she seems to pull it together. I didn't understand where Miss Marple came into the storyline. She just seemed kind of on the periphery. So here we've got Inspector Allen, and he's there. He's doing what he needs to do. And the other part that I like, so that was about the main inspectors being present in the story is one reason why I prefer this one. And the other reason is that some of Agatha Christie's endings that I have read just seem to come out of almost nowhere. I don't really understand why we arrive or why it couldn't have happened a lot sooner. I don't know. I didn't like her endings at all. So really enjoyed the first one, and I will follow up with that for over the course of the years. You know, she's got quite a lot of books, so she's on my radar. Scavenger of the Stars, I started to read. It was one of the last two books I wanted to read from my 2017 wish list. I read about 100 pages. And by the end of 100 pages, although I understood what each character, there were two characters, Ko and Amaya, what their individual pursuits were, I couldn't understand what they were doing in the same book. And I thought, if I have to read more than 100 pages to figure out why we're getting 2 points of view and what the intersections are going to be, time's too short. I got a big pile, so I did not finish. And I'm just starting out book 2 by Heidi Helig. The first one was The Girl from Everywhere, and this one, The Ship Beyond Time, I'm enjoying. The first page opens up with the ship being chased and them being chased by the Honolulu military. I guess they're not the military, right? Naval. And shots being fired and a kraken coming on board and people falling overboard and having to be rescued. So the first 10 pages are pretty action-packed. And so I'm invested in this one, unlike the others. Which means that that pile downstairs that I showed you last week is two books away from being completed for November, plus my nonfiction. So, you know, when I say things like this, oh, it's almost finished, except plus, and this, and that, it's really like nowhere near finished, right? It's fantasy. So I hope that, I'm pretty good close. I'm on track. What is today? The 22nd? So I've got I've got a week at least to get 3 books completely read and complete my nonfiction choices. And one of my nonfiction choices was The Inconvenient Indian by Thomas King. And I have decided that it is such a powerful, such a incredible amount of content type of book that I'm going to give it its own month. I feel it deserves way more attention than I'm giving these other books. So I'm sort of flicking between them and just, kind of making a bit of a game of it. I think that The Inconvenient Indian deserves my full attention. So that's my goal for that book, to read it in December as well. So my December pile is a tiny bit bigger now, but the winter pile has come down by quite a lot. That's it for me today. I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.